All right, so the next one here, this story is almost unbelievable. A Republican bill would give benefits to Americans in the IDF. So a bill introduced in the House by Representatives Guy Reschenthaler, who's a Republican from Pennsylvania, and Max Miller, a Republican from Ohio. This bill would extend certain benefits for Americans serving in the U.S. military to American citizens in the Israeli military. The legislation introduced on May 17th would give Americans in the Israeli Defense Forces protections under the Service Members Civil Relief Act and the Uniformed Services Employment and Re-Employment Rights Act. So what these acts do, the Service Members Civil Relief Act, that protects U.S. service members from civil legal action while they're on active duty and for up to a year after. That prevents things like foreclosure or any kind of, I think divorces as well, like civil legal action while they're serving, active duty. And then you have the other law, the Uniformed Services Employment Act. That means that protects their jobs. So if you're in the U.S. military reserves and you get called up for active duty, there's all these laws that make it impossible for your employer to fire you, and it protects your benefits at those jobs. So I remember when I used to work on the Staten Island Ferry, we had a lot of Navy Reserve guys, and they would just, some of them would be gone for like years, and then they would have a job coming back for them. But anyway, so this is really something, to give these benefits to the Israeli military, to American citizens serving in the Israeli military. And Reschenthaler said in a statement on the legislation, quote, "Over 20,000 American citizens are currently defending Israel from Hamas terrorists, risking their lives for the betterment of our ally," end quote. And according to the Washington Post, there's an estimated 23,380 American citizens in the Israeli military. That is a lot. And many of them are dual citizens who were already living in Israel, but about 10,000 people living in the U.S. had traveled to Israel to report for duty with the IDF after receiving draft notices. According to Responsible Statecraft, 21 American citizens serving in the IDF have been killed in Gaza, and one was killed in northern Israel near the Lebanon border. So Reschenthaler said that his legislation will, quote, "ensure we do everything possible to support these heroes who are standing with Israel fighting for freedom and combating terrorism in the Middle East," end quote. So it's unclear I don't really know if this thing has a chance of passing. I wouldn't be surprised if it does, if it passes the House, at least, because there's a whole bunch of support for Israel and the Israeli military in the House. You had Brian Mast, a supposed representative of the Americans living in his district in Florida. He showed up to his job as an American representative wearing a IDF uniform because he's an IDF veteran. And I mean, he didn't receive any kind of backlash. He wasn't censured or anything like that for wearing a foreign military's uniform to the House. I mean, it's completely insane. So it goes to show that something like this, I think, could pass. And this is just one of many of this slew of pro-Israel legislation that we've seen over the past few months to show staunch support for this slaughter of Palestinians that's happening in Gaza. And the Republicans are really trying to show themselves as the super, super, super pro-Israel party. The Democrats are very pro-Israel, although you have more and more progressives kind of coming out against aid to Israel, but they're still by and large a very pro-Israel party. But the Republicans, I mean, you can't mess with them. They're the super, super pro-Israel party. But it's just really, I mean, there's a lot to say about this bill. It's kind of unbelievable. I think it was Michael Tracy who dug this up. He posted it on Twitter yesterday, and then it just kind of exploded, and it's all over the place now. We'll see if they actually hold a vote on it.